Hello guys, it's Paula, and I am back today to have us work on this tag again. Okay, so this is the last of the two tags that we want to finish up. Okay, so we did this whole portion here, right? And we just made it like this. So it was like a tag, right? It was just a book page folded over. And a lot of you liked this. I know these two, because I heard a lot of good comments on them. And that's great. I loved them too. They were probably my favorite. But I decided I wanted to make them more than just something flat. So we're going to do something different. Well, I think I've done it before, but in a different way. So we have an A4 card envelope that's been tea stained. And when they're tea stained, just a little FYI, they're not quite as strong as they are when they're just a regular envelope. So you got to watch this seam here. Make sure it's secure. They are so far. Okay, so I did another book page like this, and I added some gray, light gray. It was like the inside of the book page, and I used it on here so we can use up that free stuff, right? Okay, and I'm going to make it be the back of this. But what we're going to do, I'm going to show you. Here is the floral that goes inside this. So I'm going to move it over here out of the way. So then we just have an envelope. I did ink everything ahead of time to slow down the process, at least on this. Okay, now I'm going to show you what we're going to do because I did the other one. So this is the one, the brown tones, and I did it already. Here is the back of that gray paper. What I've done is I've glued these two onto the flap of the envelope. See, the flap is gone. And I took and added this, I think it's antique papery digital paper printed on cardstock. I just used those little pink scissors, these little trim tear looking scissors around the outside, and then I did a punch there, and I made sure that I didn't glue down to the inside of my envelope. So in other words, this portion didn't have any glue, just out here. Okay, is what I glued that down with because I wanted it to be a pocket. Okay, so that's what I did, and I put, you know, just it's pretty. It's a pretty bird. But just things that you think are pretty would be nice. And things that you have a story to tell on. There's always a story, right? And this goes into this pocket back here. I collaged on the other side. That's one of Mrs. Cog's images. Okay, now, and if you flip it closed, it says journal back here. So I just thought you could get more out of something like this than you could out of just a single page. And so we've got our envelope, our two book pages back to back to glue onto the flap. And now we've got a little book instead of a tag. So we turned a tag on our tag video into a little book. So let's put this other one together so you can see exactly how I did it. Everything's inked. And I say the first thing we should do is get the flap, the birds onto the flap. So you just take the flap and put it up like this, okay? And we're going to put this on the right side of the flap and the bird on the left side of the flap. And we're going to even them up. Pounce them down there, make sure they're all the way down, and this is how they're going to end up. So I thought what we could do is just glue the front one on here first. I'm using Fabri-Tac because it's stronger and it dries faster. And I just feel like in the long term it will hold better because it'll be, you know, opened and closed when you're journaling. I like little hidden spots to journal on. You know, they can be personal. If nobody knows they're there, if you don't show them, they won't know, right? So this is lying down like it's closed. So I'm going to line up my bird tag on the front and make sure it goes all the way down. Now you're going to have some seepage because I didn't make sure I didn't put any to the end. I decided I could wipe it off easier than not putting enough, you know. So there's that little bit. I'm going to wipe it off the left side. Wipe my finger off with the wiping. Get this wiped off pretty good. And then we'll come back and use the adhesive remover. Now, we've got that side on. So now we want to come over here. And this looks bulky because, you know, there is a flower back there. So just FYI. Now on this one, I'm going to put glue over the whole thing. And that way it will glue to the bird, it'll glue to the flap, and then all be really put together well. Make sure you get close to the edges. You might have to erase and have a little bit of leakage, but I would rather do that than have to fill in those gaps. You know? You know. Okay, so going to put it down here. You want to line it up with the bird tag. So I open it up and I really start pushing on everything because I want it to adhere nicely all over the tag, especially on the edges so it doesn't come apart. Okay, now I'm going to get my little eraser because I wiped it off out here, and now I'm going to go ahead and make sure there's no sticky there. I think I got it off pretty well. It doesn't seem to be any there now. Well, once again, I did ink everything. So you just want to make sure, you just check every now and then and make sure everything's adhering, not popping open. Because when you have texture on your cards, you know, it makes it a little bit easier for that to happen. Now, here we go. It closes just fine. Brilliant idea, don't you think? I don't know who came up with it, but I've seen a lot of people do it. Okay, and now I have. So we're going to glue the image on this here. Now, I recommend on this you put your glue on the envelope here because you don't want it to get down in your card or your envelope because it will glue it shut. So we don't want it to shut. We want to use it as a pocket, but we want to make sure we glue it well enough that there's no interference. Now I'm not, it looks like I'm putting a lot, but I'm really just dropping a tiny bit on here. Okay, now I already snipped the hole here, and I'm going to line this up on the front. Now I have gone over the sides, and on this what I want to do is just make sure I have a border around it. Now I didn't think about this when I was doing it, but I did go over. Look at this. Yeah, I got over quite a bit. But again, I'd rather do that than have it not stick down. And I will definitely have to go around it with my little glue thing. My glue eraser. And then got it down on this part too. I didn't do quite as bad when I did the last one. I did go over a little bit, but you would thought after cleaning up the mess the first time, I would have, what can I say? I'd be bored if I wasn't erasing stuff, glue off my paper. Because it just is a habit. I've decided it's not anything but a habit. Mostly because it's a habit I can't remember that I shouldn't do. So, you know, your papers don't have to be the perfect size. Like, if you look, you can see the difference here. Well, that's because I either cut around the paper a little crooked or, you know, glued it a little bit in the wrong direction. I think when I cut the paper, I might have not cut it as big as I needed to. Now, on this side, I got it on the paper, so I've got to get it off of that too. What can I say? I'm a gluer. I want to say welcome to all the new subscribers. I don't know which one you are. If you let me know every time, I will recognize your name and know that you're new. Let's see. Because I'd like to welcome you. So, yeah. We get all this glue off of here. It's little balls of glue all over the table. Not quite done yet, but I'm getting there. Let me make sure. I think I got it. I'm looking here to see if there's any I missed. Yeah, there is a little bit up here and right here. All right. Now, I did kind of bump the edge and take the brown off, so I'm just going to add some more ink right there. Now I'm going to get all this glue off of here. Jeez. Jeez. It's a lot of little balls of glue. I'm a gluer, what can I say? Okay, so now we know it's safe to close this and it won't glue together. And this is how the book looks. Now, I want to add some little labels. I like adding labels to blank places on my journals. I'll either put notes or just note. And I'll put love, like I'm going to put lovely on this one. And I always put journal. And sometimes I put documented, inspired. I've just got all kinds of things. You could put any kind of note you want on your books. Especially if you're making them for yourself, because you know what you like to say in certain places. You know. So, this is another Mrs. Coggs image. Look at that iris, how beautiful. And I'm going to flip it over and put one of the labels on here. But first, I kind of want to find, I think I want to find an image that has more pink in it for this one. But what I'm going to do on it is put note or journal, whichever one ends up still being around. Let's put lovely right here because it's so lovely. Okay. Come on, come on. Okay. I'll put this right here. It's hard to do these little word things without getting glue somewhere because it just is, it happens. What can I say? Okay, so on the back, I think I'm just going to put notes, and we'll put journal on the back of the cards. But you can do it however you want. I just kind of do them all different. And whenever I did the lovely, it's kind of like the lovely for the front of the book. And so then when they flip to that page, they'll think about things that are lovely to them. And that's how I usually, in my brain, that's how I do it. Okay, so this one is glued down great with no seepage. This just has a tiny bit right here. It's got some glue on it. Okay, and on the back of this one, I guess we'll go ahead and put something on the back of this one. I may end up using it after all. Let's just put journal. We'll use it for now, and I can always change it out if I decide to. I have a thought one moment, and then the next moment, sometimes it changes. So what can I say? Just how it is. Okay, and I just put it in the center. Now, I have some other things I want us to work on today with our tag video. These are just some things I've seen Rachel. I was inspired by Rachel at Rocky Creation. I'm gonna leave this out to dry, but there we go. There's the back. Here's the inside. There's the pocket. Here is the journaling card. Now the journaling card doesn't match either one of these, so I'll be changing those into whatever color I need it to be. All right, so I'm going to set these aside. This is the twin set here, boy and girl. I want to set those aside to dry. And I thought we could try some of these things that Rachel has tried lately. I mean, it's not been, I'm really behind on her videos, so it wouldn't be lately for anyone who's on time with the videos. I'm going to save this one for another video. But this is what I made using collage paper and journaling cards. Isn't that pretty? I don't know where I got the paper that I'm backing it with. I don't recognize it. But so you start off, this is book page. And there's we're going to have to use the sewing machine too. So I'm going to get that ready here in a second. Anyway, and then I made the journaling cards. I didn't put any titles on those, but you could very easily do that. And then I also, on the back, just in case you want to put it in your book, like as a flip, you can have this in there. I would do it as a flip. So I would have it in like this, or I could have it in like this, flip it this way. But I think I would prefer to do it down here. Do it, here's the page. Let's just say here's the journal page. I would put it like this, and this side would go with the next page. And I would flip it out this way and using washi tape. So that's what the purpose of these are. Or you can slide them into pockets when you decorate both sides. You can slide them into pockets, or you can use them as flips. If you don't decorate the back, you can attach them to your book, which would be a cool thing to do also. And then you automatically have a couple pockets. You can make this one big pocket. I stitched down the middle and made it two. So to each their own, right? So the things we do with this are a lot of fun. I'm gonna bring my sewing machine over here like I do a lot of times, and we're gonna work on this together. I want to make sure you can see the sewing machine. There we go. Now, you notice there's a zigzag right here. Well, that's because you got to fold this over. This is a double page, okay? This one's pretty heavy, and this one turned out pretty heavy. You want to, depending on what size you want your pockets to be, you want to use, like I'm using a big piece, okay, that I can always use as a flip. They're not all going to be identical, but you want, the first thing you want to do is fold your paper over, you know, use your score tool, and put your machine on zigzag. I'm using a blue-gray thread, which I just think looks better than just any old thread. But yeah, we're gonna stitch this. You want to make sure you're grabbing the whole fold over before you, I'm stitching on the right side of the pocket. Okay, here we go. You just want to make sure that it's picking up on your paper you folded under. Oh, my machine is wanting to stitch. It just stitched in the same spot about 10 times. Let me show you what it did. I must have got it. I must have snagged it somehow. Now it's wanting to act really ugly. I have to take everything apart. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why it did that. I've had pretty good luck. Maybe my bobbin is... Nothing is turning, I will tell you that. So I'm going to take the bobbin out. And I'm getting a little lesson on... it is really, it's not moving at all. So that is weird. What do you do in that situation? Usually if you turn your wheel, so I'm just pulling it off because what else can I do? You know? So we're going to set that one to the side, and we're going to use my backup. But I hope that sews okay. So I'm going to put in my new bobbin just in case. I always try to have a bobbin setting at the side. Now I tell you about that now, and then in the future I'll forget to do it and be mad at myself. Let's see. I kind of feel like a lot of times, there it comes up. When your bobbin gets lower, it just acts up. Plus, this is not my favorite thread. I don't think it's the new thread I bought. I think it's the old gray I had, old gray blue I had. And I don't know about you, but don't use Walmart thread. I have found out that Walmart thread, it will make little knots along the way, and it kind of separates sometimes. I've had it happen on more than one. So I have a smaller one here that's not, it's not my very favorite. Let me see, I've got 2 more here, I guess. Neither one of them are super straight. They were my first practice ones. So it really doesn't matter, but I think this one's bigger, so we'll go with the bigger one. Let's try this one more time. And luckily I have one more to work with. Okay. It was the bobbin. Kind of figured it must have been. So you're going to stitch along this hem on the right side rather than on the back side. So you want to make sure your stitching is going to catch what you folded over. I guess I should show you how I folded it over. I will when I'm done right here. Like I said, it's 2 pages glued together. Okay. And it's 2 pages folded together. And you just eyeball it. There's no measurements, anything like that. And let me get this ready. So what you do, I gotta tie those off. It's just a page, and you can see this is what we hemmed down. I just folded that over to do like a hem, and that's all there was to it. Now that we have that hemmed, we can stitch around and do the rest of what we need to do. But I'm going to tie these real quick because I don't want them to come loose in the process. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change our bobbin. Not our bobbin. We just did that. Hello, Paula. Wake up. Good morning. Actually, good afternoon. This is my second video today. Okay. So now we're going to stitch around the whole pocket. And I chose to stitch down the middle also. So we're going to stitch around the whole pocket, all four sides. Not far in, you know, allow yourself more space in your pocket if you don't. We're going to do straight stitch because you can back stitch with that. And there are areas I kind of like to back stitch over this pocket and back stitch over the start and the ending. So here we've got it. I'm going to fold it up. Now, let me think. I think before we do the stitching, we should cover the paper. And I think I covered the paper when I did the first one wrong, and so that's why I want to do it. I want to make sure we do it right the first time. So, I think I want to do this like in, this one's really beautiful. I was very pleased with it. It came out really great, but it is in lavenders, and I don't have anything to work on in lavender, so I was thinking maybe blues. I'm going to look and see what paper I have out on my desk. It's like I have a little bit. Oh, that's still the paper I was working on. That's not what I wanted. Let me see. Maybe we could do pink and brown. That's kind of pretty, isn't it? Trying to remember what I wanted to do. I know I wanted to do pink. Let's do that. And this is Aozi, I think is her name. Let me look here. I think I had it written down somewhere on the back. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, Aozi. I think that's her Etsy shop is under her name. That's for those papers. But this is also hers. But I think I want to use maybe these on here. So it still has some of the natural colors, but also has some pink in it. So I'm thinking we want to put pink on this side. Do we want to do it like this and then add something down here? I think so. I think I want to do it like that. I just don't want it. It's not going to be quite the size we want it to be. I'm just going to cut with these scissors so I can kind of, I'm thinking in my brain now, maybe we should do the big flowers on the top, because they're not going to get covered up that way, and do some of this brown, or the flowers over here. Let's do the flowers over here on the bottom. You're probably thinking, Paula, you're crazy. Well, I am. And I'm just going to use my scissors to save time, because I had several things I wanted to cover on this video, and I don't want you to miss it. But I would say tear it. You know, I'm trying to see what I did. I think I zigzagged everything and then went back and put the paper on this one. That's what I did. If you look, you can see that nothing runs outside of the sewn line. So you can do it either way. And if you do it like I'm about to show you now, you don't stitch it till it's afterwards, but you could get some stitching on your paper that way. So it's however you want to do it. Okay, so let me move this out of our way. Now this is going to be for the outside or underneath portion. And see, that looks pretty. Yeah, I like that. Now, I'm thinking, what could we put up here? Well, we got all kinds of stuff we could put up there. I'm thinking we could put some of this some more of this striped paper. So see, it'd be like this, only underneath. Put it like that. Only underneath. And then you can just bring it up as far as you need it up. Like that. And that would be great right there. Although this is not very straight. Wake up, Miss Susie. Talking about myself. Okay. Have you ever heard this song, Wake Up, Miss Susie, Wake Up? Don't ask me why that came to my head, but it did. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and trim this white portion off too, because it won't show that thing sticking out maybe. Okay, so we're going to get our glue book, and we're going to get our glue stick, and we're going to push this back until we're finished. I have finally set my sewing machine up where I can just pull it in and out. Aren't you proud of me? I'm proud of me. Okay, now I'm not going to ink any of this till I'm done, because really I just ink around the outside. Now there are times I will ink around each piece, but yeah. Okay, so let's put this right here all the way up. It doesn't matter as long as you have it long enough that you can cover that up. We're going to put glue on this portion. I'm so glad this glue is blue, because you can really see where you're putting your glue, and so you know you're covering the whole thing. So I really like that about this particular glue. Okay. It's the Uno or Uhu. I don't know. Everybody, I've heard a lot of people call it different things, so I don't know which one's correct. I think I've heard Yoo-hoo, and I forget what Gail calls it. Okay, so see? Nice, right? You never know what you're going to end up with till you end up with it. And that's one of the things I love about collaging. Now, when I collage here, I don't want to cover up my zigzag, because it's the cool trim. But you really have to do that zigzag across there if you want to put any kind of stitching on it before you do anything else, because it won't be what you want it to be otherwise. Okay, so I don't know how far out we can go with this. I'm thinking I'll bring the floral over this way, and maybe it'll show up better. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to do it like this, and I'm going to bring it down here where I want the floral to start, and get as much of the flower on as I can. Get my pencil and mark it, so when I cut it, it can be as straight as I can get it. Okay, right there. And I'm going to do the same thing up here. So I'm going to get it back where I had it, right here. And I just want them both to be, you know, pretty close to. Okay. So let's trim it. I'm going to go ahead and just trim this all the way so I don't have that getting hung on things. These aren't the most expensive $3.97 at Walmart. You get 2 pair, 2 different pairs. But it really does. I'm wondering if do we want to put it on this way and have a flower up at the top, or I think I do, because I'm going to tell you why right here. We've got on this portion, we've got the big floral here and then at the top. So we want to alternate that, but I'm going to cut the leaves, a good part of the leaves off. So we can bring that all the way over to there where the pencil mark is. And now we're going to have to make another pencil mark so we get it exactly where we want the flower. Right there. And right here. Let's see if I can cut straight. That's the big question now. Can I get it cut straight? And I love that it doesn't matter whenever you're doing this because it's collage. But I think it's going to look better if we do it that way. I may go back and add that little rosebud on top of whatever we end up having on the bottom here. So, I'm going to do it like this. Yeah, I like that. Now, I am going to need to do a little bit off right in the middle here. Whenever you go back over anything with these scissors, it's never as pretty as the first time. Just FYI. Because they don't cut even. I'm going to pull the little snaggy things off. Okay, so we're going to have to trim it on the other side a little bit too, it looks like. Yeah, let me see how much. Not that much. Not that much. Okay, but I'm going to do it all the way this time. That way we get a little bit better look, possibly. It gets to the very end and shows itself. You ever tell your kids, you're just showing yourself, get out of here. When they're misbehaving. You're letting everybody know how you behave. Okay. There is how it's looking so far. I like that. I am very pleased with that so far. So I'm thinking, I've got this little flower right here. Maybe I'll just slide it in and over right there. And just put it below that leaf right there. So, I mean, obviously it is facing the wrong way. Maybe we should do it up here. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. And hopefully I can get it straight enough right there for no further than it needs to go. Okay, now let's see. We definitely want to put this piece down first. And then match up the other one and put it down second. Let's do it. I'm ready to see what it's going to look like. Okay. Let's bring it up here. Keep it right there. Pretty. Okay. I'm going to turn it this way so we can glue the top down first. I want to make sure it's as straight as it can get. Like a lot of things, you know, when you first put it, when you have it down there and you're measuring and cutting, looks good at that moment, but can you ever get it back to that exact place. That's the hard part. Okay, so this is the top. We're going to start up as high as we can, and so we don't show the ugly paper underneath. Of course, it depends on what you think ugly is. I would prefer to cover the text paper, especially when you don't know what they say sometimes. I try to read them if I'm not going to cover them completely. So there we go. Okay, now let me make sure we don't have anything hanging off. We don't. Yeehaw. I was thinking that maybe I should put this up here. Yeah, there I go again, thinking. There I go again, just thinking. Okay, let's just see what it's going to look like. And basically, it's just we're just going to cover up the piece we put down initially. I like that. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. And then we'll work on the back with whatever scrap we have left. So really on this, it's not as much about collaging as it is just covering the text paper. And we just want to cover this up the best we can. Now, if you left it like this, it wouldn't look so pretty. But see now, can't tell the difference. Except, let me see if I can get this. I'm afraid I'll tear it, so I'm going to leave it. I didn't like that little bit of brown up there, but I think it's just fine. Because it looks like there's a bunch of different pieces as you go down. And that is what kind of look you want. Okay, so let's go ahead and collage the back. And remember, you want the top up at the top of your page. Or is that the top? No, this is the top. Or at least that's how I'm going to make it. I think initially I talked about doing it the other way. But I like the way it looks here. So, we've got a lot of this left over here. And I just thought we could use what we've got left over and add what we need, you know. So this is already cut right here. Let's see how far it will get us. And this is really good for the side of the book that you're going to collage on, going to journal on. So I'm going to trim this right here, and maybe it will fit under that or beside that. Looks like that's where it came from, huh? Not perfectly. Let's do it like this so it looks different. Come on, get under there. I'm going to get it over as far as you can. Right there. This is going to be up here. Yeah. And then here, I'm wanting these little slices to be in different places. So right there, let's just cut that right there. We've got a little tiny piece left. Now, I'm going to put that right there. And the rest of this has some flour on it. So I was trying to avoid the flour for the back because, you know, it will just be a piece of flour. But we could put this right here. And I'm looking. I really don't want any flour. There. And then we could just take that bottom portion and do whatever the heck we want, right? Let's do it this way. I'm going to put these two. Now this is more collaging because we're putting it down kind of like a puzzle. Now we have that that portion right there. And I'm going to reach down into my scraps and see what I've got that could be in that same color. Or I have this that probably would do perfect. I think so. And maybe we can just put this one up at this top side. And then it looks like, or like this, then it looks like it's growing off the edge. Let's do that. That way we don't waste. And yeah, we just don't waste that way. Okay, so we want to start with the piece underneath. So we know these two are going to go like this. So let's set them to the side and put this one down first. And it goes under that portion. So that's good. Okay. Come on. There we go. So we're going to line this up right here underneath this paper. Perfect. Now we're going to put the big piece on right here next. Okay. Now we're going to bring this down so you can see. Oh, that looks good. Now this little piece of rose. I mean, we just had enough of this paper. There wasn't anything left over. This one sheet, but at least we didn't waste. And that always makes me happy. I don't like it when I have to throw stuff away. Okay, now this next piece is going to go underneath across. I'm telling you, after this video, I'm taking a nap. I have been going nonstop since 8 o'clock this morning, and I'm pooped. Let's do it like this. I can't remember exactly how I had it, but we're going to do it like that. Okay. I'm going to put this little piece on. Got a lot of glue on this little paper pad. It's like glued down. Okay, so I think I'm going to do this like, no, I'm going to do it like this. On there. Got two more pieces after this one. Small ones. Small little pieces. And okay, and then we've got this little piece. And this one's going to go right at the edge of that one. Get it as close as I can to the end. And then this is the last one as far as the collaging paper goes. Okay. Come off of there. I like the way this looks. So we'll just, well, you know what? I didn't realize it was a tiny bit short. Here, let's do it like this. We may be able to go back and add a little piece if we need to. It's not that big a deal. Where'd my scissors go? They got back in the basket. What can I say? I don't know when I did that. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this down because it needs to have something done. And I'm going to do it. The whole page was pretty glue covered. So I'm just going to take it. I always flip it over, put the rough edge out to the side. I'll tell you why I do that in just a second. So I pull it out, the one on top that has the glue. I flip it around so the rough part is on this side instead of by the binding. Then when you tear out the one you glued it to, it has the rough edge on that side because I like the way the rough edges look. That's my reason for that. Now, I'm going to put the lid on this. But I'm going to see if I have just a dab more of that paper we just trimmed off. See if I tossed anything down in my trash can. I don't think there was anything left. So we may just tear a tiny piece. Watch me. I'm just going to tear a tiny piece off the edge right here. Because we don't need very much. I mean, one little, that's it. That's all we need. Aren't I crazy? Who would worry about that little spot? Rachel wouldn't. She'd just slap it down there and go on. Or if it bugged her, she'd cover it with a label. She always has something creative she can do. She's super good at collaging. I want to be her when I grow up. I'm much older than her. Okay, so there we go. Now that portion is all done. And now it's time to stitch. But I think this is too wet. So maybe we'll move on to making some journaling cards. I really like this. It's another collection, but the thing is I don't have enough printed up to really use this. But isn't that pretty to make a background for, I want the pocket to go I want it to be wide enough, and I'd like to have some roses to put on here. Let me see what time it is. You know, we don't have time to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a straight stitch around this when I'm off camera and this has dried, and a straight stitch across the middle. That's what we do to finish it. That's all you're missing on completing this, okay? And then in the next video I'll get this stitched, and in the next video I'll print some more of this off or something similar, and we'll make this be the background, and then I'll find some rose pictures to put on here. And I think that will just top this off to be a great flip out in a journal. And again, I don't know, you know, even what this is going to go in. And I may end up making some of these and selling some of them because I just love the way they look. They make great flip outs for your pages, or they go in pockets. Yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want with them. But it was a great idea, Rachel. It's Rachel over at Foxy Creations. Okay, now, in the next video, we will do our collage book because that's what comes next. This is really a tags class because we finished up our little bird tags and turned them into something else. And since I decided to turn them from tags into little books with storage, I went ahead and decided to show you this. Because it can be a tag, okay? And that's the reason I included it in this video. It can be a tag as well. So a tag with pockets. That's what it is. Okay, so I will finish this up in the next tags video. And I don't know if it probably won't be tomorrow. It'll be the next day. I don't know. It won't be the next video. I don't know. I can't remember. I just make them, right? My husband keeps them in order for me. So, I will see you in whatever video comes up next. Welcome subbies, new subbies. Thank you. I appreciate my old subbies, my regular subbies that I had before the new ones. And if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, this is the kind of stuff we do. And we make books and everything else. See you guys in the next video. Bye.